Hey Chris, how you
You know what
doing?
I'm saying? What's going on? What's going on? Now, today we got a very special interview. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let the guests introduce themselves, but right now I want y'all to give y'all full attention to Moni Madam. Go ahead and go ahead and introduce yourself.
How y'all doing? My name is Simone, aka Moni Madam. For my fans and my supporters, y'all could just call me Moni Madam or the Madam. Um, I'm an actress. I'm an artist. I have my hands in everything as far as the industry goes. And yeah, I'm not gonna speak too much. I'm gonna save it for the questions. But yeah.
Well, I've noticed you had your music in all the major stores like Apple Music and Spotify. So let's dive right into the music. When you record and when you be in the studio, I mean, what are your studio sessions like?
For me, my studio sessions are, I'll say they're very like straightforward, driven. I'm focused. When I go in the studio, I don't go in the studio to vibe out the whole day. Like I'm going straight in to record, get in, get out. Um and usually, before I go to a studio session, I'll have my song down pack. So when I go in, I could just put the beat on and rap the beat straight through. And not a lot of people can do that. You got people they go in, they everyone's recording style is different, but that's my style and that's what works for me. And yeah, I just don't play when I go in. I can lay down, You'll have people who go in the studio, they there all day and they only recorded one song. I'm going in, I'm laying about at least three songs.
Okay, okay, I feel that now. I see you've been like traveling around as well. So have you been like branching out to different studios and different producers, or do you got like a select favorite?
I do have a select favorite. Shout out to Bully Gang. He's one of my he's produced a couple of my songs and I really like working with him. As far as working with other people, I would like to. I was just incarcerated for 2 years. I came home. You gotta work with people in this industry, especially for a different sound. So I definitely would like to, but I'm limited and restricted as far as what I can do because I was incarcerated for 2 years. I'm currently on the monitor, and I do be outside though. I still be getting shit done, even though I'm on the monitor. But as far as traveling and doing things of that nature when it comes to producers and who I want to work with, I'm not able to go far. So, no, not right now, but in the near future, yes.
So what motivates you when you write your music?
What motivates me when I write my music is a situation, like something that happened to me. It could be traumatic, it could be something not traumatic, something happy, just something that inspires me. Like I have to have a story because when I rap, I'm rapping about what I'm living, and some of my best songs have came from situations or things that have happened to me. Behind every song is definitely a story.
And that is with all great songwriters. So you just keep it up. I can see that because a lot of famous people have went through a lot of things and hardship and events in their life that literally set them up for greatness. So you know what I mean. You never know. You never know what that hardship was. Was it supposed to be a lesson, or was it supposed to be a blessing? You know what I'm saying. So now I've been seeing on social media that you got a nice little reality TV show coming up, and I want to know, uh, well, to start off, two things. I know you were going to be on Baddies Harrisburg. Are you still working with that? Are you still in that motion?
Okay, well, let me correct you with that. So,
Mhm.
with the show in Harrisburg, it's not Baddies. The show is called Studio Boss,
Right,
and it
right.
and it has to do with
Mhm.
the studio, Suton, 100 mil, shout out to him.
Mhm.
And that show basically is, I guess, 50 contestants audition. Only 8 will be chosen to, work and help him out in the studio. When I auditioned and I got picked for this reality show at the time, I did not know what the show was about. but I knew I
Right.
was being, I didn't really know what it was about. Um, and then the same day, funny story, the same day we had the photo shoot for the show, I ended up coming back from the photo shoot, coming to DC, and I got arrested that same day. So
Wow.
to finish the show or finish filming. So fast forward 2 years later, I come home at the last day of February, and this is why I say like God is amazing, and He's working, and I'm seeing Him work in ways I ain't see Him work before, at least for me. But the show is now being released in June. It'll be released in June, but the premiere for the show is May 25th. And I am home to be able to experience this and be a part of this. And I was just incarcerated for 2 years. So, with production and shows, these things take
Mhm.
time. Yeah, that's what that's about. And as far as that, to answer your question, I'm sorry, I kind of went off topic, but to answer your question, I am doing that and I am involved in that. I will be at the premiere as of now. I do have to put in with the judge and my lawyer and figure things out as far as the traveling aspect. But if it's approved and I get permission to go, I will be at that premiere and hopefully y'all be seeing me season two. I left off
Mhm.
watching the show, all they're gonna know is, damn, she got arrested for murder. She's in jail for the murder. That's how my story ended on that show.
Hey, and hey, it might be a blessing in disguise. It could build the build up, it could build the hype. You know what I'm saying? And now they get to experience you, even though they might have a preconceived notion from that. Now they actually get to experience the real you and fall in love with you, just like the world should. You know what I mean? So, well, I know you got that coming up. Everybody, keep your eye out for that in June. But DMV baddies DMV. Now that it seems like is going to be a real good fit for you.
Excuse me.
And I personally firsthand know part of like partial of your personality and how fun you is, you know what I'm saying? How much of a good spirit that you are. I can't wait to see that translate onto the reality TV network. So what I want to ask you is what can we expect from you on Baddies DMV?
With this show that's coming out, it is called OG Prana and Friends DMV Baddies. It is because I don't want people to get be misled. This is not Natalie Nunn baddies. So don't, which I can tell you what you can't expect from me is me fighting, being ratchet, doing, I always say my face, my money maker. Like I ain't fighting. So as far as with this show, it's just to show the culture of DMV and also the person, OG Prana, the CEO of the show. She's an artist as well. She battle raps. She got her own thing going on, and it's an opportunity, something that she allowed me to be a part of. So on there, I'll say just expect to see what is Simone doing. Like, what did Simone do when she came home? What's day to day life like for Simone? I don't be doing too much. Expect a couple performances, But as far as if you want to see more of Moni Madam, more of me, you gotta come to my page. You gotta tune into what I got going on, and yeah,
And there's her name flashing at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you follow her on Instagram at call me Moni Madam underscore. Don't forget that underscore. Now, as y'all can see, even from her, she's proof in real time that networking is always a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that y'all sometimes it takes somebody to know somebody, and sometimes it takes opportunity and preparation to come together at the same time and you be in synchronicity. And that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a great job. And I'm very happy for you. Now, I know ever your pre incarcerated life to your post incarceration life, I heard you say that you chose to walk away from OnlyFans. Do you care to explain to the world who, what, and why you chose to walk away from OnlyFans?
I chose to walk away from OnlyFans because um OnlyFans when I at the time when I did OnlyFans, I had a idea. Whenever I go into something, I always have a vision or something, a goal or something that I want to achieve with it. And walking into OnlyFans, full blown out like porn was not what I wanted to do. That wasn't my idea. That wasn't what I was stepping into OnlyFans for. I wanted to use OnlyFans. I looked at it as a platform. And how can I use this platform to, it's a platform to share your
Right. To network, to grow, to
right.
do what you got to do for your business. Right.
Everyone doing porn and people had to, realize this is not what OnlyFans is about or what it's for. But when I first did that, hey, I buckled down. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. That's why I come out with that motto. I'm not a porn star, I'm just a star because my goal is never to do porn. And if I'm gonna do porn, I might as well be a porn star. You know what I'm saying? So being incarcerated from them 2 years, I had time to think and just really like reflect and also, come home now, it's a new slate. Why jump back into that if that's not something that I really wanted to do, if that's not me and that's not who I am? So it just doesn't make sense to jump back into it, especially for the money. I'm cool. Like, it's not worth it. I don't want to,
Right.
I'd rather exploit my talent. And also, I want to be in, eventually, one day be in the room with business people and conduct certain business. Having that, exploiting myself like that is going to do myself a disservice. And I won't be able to, be in the room with certain people. And I can't afford that. Just fucking want my money. Just like you want to make money this way temporary, or do you want to for the long run? And I choose the long run.
Yeah, no doubt. And it sounds like I know for a fact that you were younger when you were doing things like that, and now that you grown up, it sounds like a bunch of growth and elevation. So it's definitely a good thing to see and a good thing to hear. And it's kind of so it leads me into the next question. Are you got the same type of mindset towards the exotic dancing, or is that something that you still wanna? Because you know that people you can turn that into a career. I know a lot of girls who make a lot of money off of that.
I can't dance. And I know this. And I knew this when I was a dancer. I have crazy sex appeal. I know how to I have crazy sex appeal, but when it comes to I can't even do a split. I'm not even flexible. So, dancing being a career for me, it's not happening because I know I can't dance. I just know my sex appeal. But so as far as though going back into the club, I don't see that happening anytime soon because, I gained a lot of weight in jail. It has me kind of insecure. I'm not as confident as I was before in dancing and, being like you got to be confident. Not saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There's different shapes and sizes in the club and men like different things, but just for me, if I'm not confident, I can't do that. I can't perform well. So I will say, like, right now, no. But once my body gets right and all that, I may not go back into full blown like being a stripper, but I have had thoughts about, being a bottle girl or maybe a bartender, things of that nature, because again, I know what I'm good at and where I make money at and just what I'm good at, and that's the entertainment industry or things of that nature. And I still gotta make money and I still have to survive out here, but I just don't wanna do other things.
Yeah, I feel that. And as in 2025, there's a bunch of different lanes and avenues people can take, and I see now a trending thing is pop the balloon and 20v1. So knowing that you be traveling around a lot, would you sign up for some 20v1s and pop the balloons? You know, in like Atlanta, maybe there might be some in the DMV area. Um, I know a lot of them take place in New York. So if you ever were to go to some of these places, would you sign up for these newer trends?
Definitely. And anything that helps me grow my platform or puts me out there for someone to recognize me and, meet me and know who I am. That's how you network, of course.
No, yeah. Now you mentioned a couple of times about being incarcerated. I want to ask you, because a lot of people's story is different. A lot of people do experience incarceration, especially in America, through high numbers, uh, through record breaking numbers. So I want to ask you, what was your life or your experience like in prison?
I was in jail, county. I didn't get to experience prison. I got a little bit of tahini on my lip. It's not my drink. If y'all see that, excuse me. But so yeah, I know prison and county is two different things. It's different. So I want to clarify that and let people know that I did not make it to prison. So I don't know what's that like, and I say wish I did, but I heard the experience with prison is more lenient. It's not like county. So to be in county for 2 years is horrible at first, especially when I got there, because COVID was just getting over. Jails and places are still transitioning from COVID. So we're on 23-1. We're locked down in our cell damn near all day, can't come out. So at first, my first 6 months, it was very hard for me because of that. But once the schedule changed and they allowed us out of our cell more often, Joe became more easier. I had a job in there, I was working. That became easier as well. But man, that shit is like high school. Dealing with bitches, all they do is like it's literally like high school. It's like high school. It really is. You wanna know why? Cause that's all girls do. Like you're around a whole bunch of females. They arguing. The COs like teachers. Like high school. You got your teachers' pets, your COs' pets, like high school. Um, I say though too. I feel like me. I'm that bitch. Cause of course I had to get me a jail nigga. Like I had me a nigga in the kitchen, so I was eating cheese steaks. Um, just know I was eating good. I wasn't eating that jail food. I was eating good, and books was taken care of and all that. But that didn't happen until my last like 6 months in being in jail. That didn't happen. So prior to that, I wasn't really eating like that. I was putting money on my books at first, but money ran out and my family didn't have it. So
Okay, well,
I know what your next.
from yeah, I bet you probably do.
How did I adapt? Is that it?
It actually is the very next question, but you kind of answered that when you spoke on getting the job and it taking time and all that. So you kind of touched on that. But the very next question after that, do you know which one that is?
No.
Mhm. That one would be your life before and after jail, right? So what I mean by that is how when you compare your life from before you were incarcerated to after you were incarcerated, do you think it differs? Is it the same? Like, do you got a different mindset? Do you got different eating habits or just regular habits? You know what I mean? Like, do you got different? Do you look at life a different way or sort of the same way as before you went in?
So I will say, when it comes to that whole I changed, I wouldn't necessarily say I changed because I don't. Yeah, I'm speaking for myself. I didn't. I wouldn't say I changed, but as far as when it comes to my mindset, I'm definitely more mature. I don't want to really say I needed that experience because the experience wasn't deserved, and I'm not gonna go into details as of why I was in jail and like what happened. But I definitely like did not deserve to be sitting in there, especially as long as I sat. Like it just wasn't deserved. But I'm grateful for the experience, I guess, because wherever God puts me, if God, that's where God put me for 2 years. That's where I needed to be. That's where I was. As far as my mindset, I like who I am now versus like before because I matured. I see. Before I was more reckless. I was impulsive. Now going into situations and because I experienced like deaf or just like I'm being more cautious rather than going into it with that young, dumb, free, impulsive mindset. Now I'm going into the mindset with discernment, with thinking as a woman rather than like a little girl, you know? And even with life though too, I feel like it's different too because now just coming home, God is really working. I see when God is working. I always seen God work in other people's lives, but now I see him working in mine and it's like I can't believe it, Like it's just like wow.
I can dig that, and I can see that from on the route that you're going on to. It seems like you're going to make your life a way better life than you might have had before, or just something that you do deserve. And one thing that I try to teach on this platform is if you apply, you know what I mean, like secret knowledge or advanced knowledge to your daily life, you can improve your life and have a better life. So what I want to ask you is, um, what is a piece of advice that you wish someone might have told you when you were a kid?
Hmm. Let me think. Hold on. Some a piece of advice I wish somebody would have told me as a kid. Honestly, and I want to feel like we probably do hear this, but we don't listen. You know, just as kids, like we don't listen. So I honestly don't know because I look at it as this, and I know not to make it such an open-ended like answer to your question, but I look at it as even if somebody would have told me as a kid, I wouldn't have listened. I wouldn't have took that advice as a kid rather than if I was to hear that advice now as an adult. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's a wise thing to say and to acknowledge, because a lot of people don't think like that, or especially the youth. So I get it. It's like when you're younger, you don't want to listen because you think you know everything, especially when you get to like the adolescence, to the closer to the 18, 19-year old, you start to feel yourself a little bit. And that's a very wise thing that it might take some people a long time to learn and grasp the concept of. You know what I mean? So I agree with you on that, and I love it. I love the evolution. Now we're gonna I'm gonna wrap it up a little soon. Just a couple more questions with but I remember back in the day you had an interview with Kevin Samuel. He was the first time Moni Madam really started going viral and started branching out and started, you know what I mean, using your confidence and stepping out into the world. So when you how do you feel about his unexpected death? I don't know if you heard about it or not, but he definitely passed away a couple years ago, and it was like unexpected. So how do you feel about that? What's your reaction?
I was sad, honestly. I was glad because I always at the time when I had went live with Kevin, like that was a goal of mine, like something I just wanted. Like I'm gonna go live with him. I'm gonna go live with him. So to hear about that and also hear like women were, oh, that's what you get, or like it was just sad and all that how the internet like responded to it. It was just sad, but then at the same time, honored to be able to have had that experience and a conversation with him, and yeah. Not great.
One, you're like one of the few, and it's powerful. It was a great conversation. I remember it was powerful. I would definitely throw that up on your channel for sure.
I have to find it. I don't even know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I will.
All right, now we're going in it with this question here. If anybody that's watching or anybody up in them 20v1s that's going to be seeing Moni Madam soon, what can they do or how can they get your attention? What kind of relationship are you looking for? What kind of man is you looking for? If it's a woman, what kind of woman you looking for? Yeah, I mean, but what can someone that's interested in you, what can they do to catch your attention?
I like a tall man, but not saying like, I mean, hey, to get my attention, if you're tall, like, hey, that's tall, it's gonna grab my attention. You know what I'm saying? I do like an attractive man. And honestly, what I'm looking for in a man now, like, just someone who is business. Like, what are you doing in life? In order for, because I want to build in mine. I'm building in mine. I want to be with someone who's building as well. Because if you're not doing anything, that's gonna make like bring me down. So you just have to, be doing something in life. As far as the physical qualities and attributes, those don't really matter. But just doing something in your life and something that is yeah, business driven. Just be doing something, man. I don't know. I can get my attention.
Hey, you heard it here first, people. Y'all go check out Moni Madam on Instagram. Y'all go check her out on Apple Music and Spotify. Moni Madam, she got two. I'm pretty sure she got more than two performances coming up, but I know she got a couple performances coming up in the DMV. Y'all make sure y'all go check her out. And we out of this joint.
Yes, thank you. Bye, everybody.